Welcome to Health Coach for Women. Intentional living for more happiness and fulfillment in your everyday life with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. Join Marsha as she shares her own personal wellness journey, as well as stories from our guests that will enlighten and inspire you to move towards better health and happiness. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Health Coach for Women. Today, I want to talk about a very important topic, and that is spiritual warfare. Now, some of you may look at that and maybe have looked at the title and said, what? Like we're under attack? And some may say, yeah, and may agree with me, right? But I want to talk about it because it's very important. And there are some things that you need to understand. And I want to start off by, with this whole situation with the pandemic going on. It's been going on for over a year now. And we are still in places where we still have to wear our mask in places and businesses. And even in gyms and things like that. And what this has done was really in addition to, and mainly coming from that mainstream media of what they have been talking about with the whole pandemic and the jab and everything like that. I'm not going to get into whether a person should choose to take the jab or not. That is not my topic today. But what I want you to understand, and that we are at this time, that we are being in a place where things with ourselves are being tested, right? We're being tested of our faith and what we believe, our values, our own personal ideals and beliefs, right? Because some places you can't work without having it. It's where they're making it in some, I know that right now it's going through the courts and it's on hold right now. But in some places where, with jobs, you have to have it or you can't work, right? And so what I want to say is everything is not always what they appear to be. And what I mean by that, when we look at mainstream media, as well as on some of our searches that we would find on Google and things like that, they're not always what they appear to be. Okay, they're not always what they appear to be. And, with this new variant that's come about, again, it's putting people in this place of panic, fear, stress, depression, all right, anxiety. People are being faced with many of these issues right now, as well as domestic violence and suicide. These are the issues that people are facing right now with this whole situation, right? And so the main thing is, what you must understand is that once a person or individual or entity, whatever you want to call it, once fear is instilled in a people, into people, they can then have control over the people. And what does this do? What does this do when we invoke this fear and panic, right? We already know what it does to our stress levels, right? We already know that we cause more stress, producing more cortisol and weakening our immune system. We know this to be a fact. Some other things that we knew, as I mentioned before, anxiety, stress, anxiety, depression, right? And some are now, taking medicine to help with their anxiety and their depression and things like that. And alcohol abuse, right? And so our mental is being affected, right? Our mental health is being impacted by what we see and what we focus on. as well as our own, as well as our physical, right? Because we know that these things, again, weaken the immune system. So now we're putting ourselves at risk to be compromised. So all of these things are compromised, as well as the spiritual part of breaking down the human spirit, breaking down the human spirit. And so when you can break down the human spirit, you pretty much have them in the palm of your hands. You have them in the palm of your hands and you can control them. And so what I want you to understand is that the power is within you. And if you can put your mindset, and I understand that it's difficult, and that's why we have to refrain from watching certain things. That is why we cannot live out of fear. We cannot live based on fear. We have to make it where we are operating at a higher level, this higher vibration. As you know, you heard about good vibes, good vibration. Well, this is true. So we have to raise the vibration of how we choose to operate, and how we can impact and change our own lives. And it's not coming, it doesn't happen from fear. It doesn't happen from that spirit of fear. It comes from operating from a place of fearlessness and loving, right? That spirit of love, right? Of course, loving yourself. That's important, in changing yourself, because you can't change anything without changing yourself. And so we have to change our mindset. We can't pay attention to mainstream media news and all the other fake news that's out there or whatever, or paying attention to the things that's not serving you on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, whatever it is that you may be in tune with. And see, and these are the distractions to keep you in the dark from what's really happening, and to keep you in the dark of what's really going on, right? And that is to gain control, to break you down mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, as well as even financially, to break you down, right? Break you down to the last compound, okay? I want you to understand that when you operate from a place of love, and those who may be people of faith, you may understand me. And if you're not, and if you are a woman of faith, a person of faith, and so stand strong in your conviction, stand strong and firm in what you believe. And you may not have a particular faith or religion, but you are a spiritual being, right? And then you understand certain things. You understand the laws of nature. You understand how everything matters, right? How it all matters. And that we are connected, and that we are not separate from one another. Social interaction is our nature as human beings. It's our nature. It's in our nature. So if we are continuously being separated, with the social distancing, and I'm not saying, do not misunderstand. I'm not saying that a person should not be cautious and do whatever they need to do to protect themselves, because people do have compromising things that will compromise them. They have health issues that will put them at risk. So what I want you to get from this is that all of the separation and the division only makes us weaker. It makes us weaker. And to strengthen us, to strengthen ourselves, we have to change the way we think and the things that we believe to be true, right? The things that we believe to be true, because many of the things that we have been taught, when you really dig and do your own research, you find out that we've been lied to all along. And I won't really get into too much of that. But what I want you to understand is that You have to operate from a place of love. If you get nothing else from this episode today, I want you to operate from a place of love and fearlessness and fearlessness. And when I talk about fearlessness, I'm talking about standing firm in your convictions of what you believe, of what you hold dear, right? And I don't want you to operate from this place of fear, because operating from the place of fear and and it keeps you operating at a lower level. So once you can understand it, and out of fear, let me also add to this, when we choose to operate out of a place of fear, sometimes we make irrational decisions. And sometimes when we are anxious and we are afraid, we don't always make the best choices. I don't know if any one of you can relate to that, but hey, I'm going to testify, and I have done this before in the past. I've done it. When I was dealing with issues of anxiety and depression and worrying about finances, you made quick, irrational decisions, and I had to learn from that. And I had to learn from that. So now, because I know what I know, process, I don't rush it unless I know for sure, hey, this is what I know and feel to be true, and know that this is a sure thing of what I want, then I'm going to go ahead and do it. But if you're in a place where you're undecided, you don't want to rush and make quick, irrational decisions. I want to share something, and I don't want to keep bringing it back to the whole jab situation, but I need to share this story, this example with you, so that so that you can kind of see and get the picture of what I'm trying to say. You know, um, have people are faced with making decisions between getting the jab or losing their jobs, right? And so, uh, one story of an individual that I heard about, that I was told about by a family member, was that this person, her job required her to get the jab, and she took the first shot, which left her feeling where she was unable to drive, or her arm, she wasn't able to use the steering wheel properly to make the turn. And so she got advice from a friend that she should go to the hospital. And with that, she discovered that when they ran some tests, at first they asked, of course, when you go into the hospital, you have to do some intake and ask questions. And they asked, well, what was it, and what happened between this period and that period? Well, she just explained, I took the jab, um, and this is when I noticed whatever happening. They immediately ran some tests, and they discovered that based on her symptoms, they immediately ran some tests, and they discovered that she had not one, not two, but three. She's now on medication, right? And that was the first shot. She went, and again, because the job required her to get the second jab. And so I was just wondering, and I was so baffled by it that I was like, well, why would this person go and get the second jab based on what she experienced from the first one? She should have immediately gotten a note from her doctor explaining that she could not get the second shot, simply because of the reaction she had from the first one. Feel under pressure, and don't get me wrong, I'm not insensitive to this at all, but my thing is, you can get another job, but you can't get another life, right? You can't get your health back once well, no, I cross that out. cross that out. You can't get another life back once, once you've gone ahead and done something that has been uh, that impacted your health so greatly. So I just wanted to correct, but you can always find another job. And so this was her situation. And this person is on several different medications, um, early onset dementia, um, diabetes. Now, I don't know if this was dormant, maybe dormant before, and then maybe the jab just awakened those things that was there because the individual was fine prior to that. So the point of what I'm trying to make is that everything is not for everyone. And so you have to use your discernment, your own judgment to decide what is best for you, what is best for me, the individual, myself, of what I should do. And if we keep paying attention to the things that scares us, the things that cause us to make irrational decisions or rush decisions out of fear, fear of losing your job, fear of not being able to provide, fear of not having the finances, right? Fear of the impact it will cause on the family and the relationship. There's a whole spectrum of things of what it can impact, right? Of not having a source of income. I get it. At the end of the day, we have to look at ourselves and what we need to do for ourselves. What is the best decisions that we need to do? And so I wish the sister well. I'm hoping that she's no longer able to work. And after all of that, she can't even work. She's not able to work. So I say this because there is a spiritual warfare going on. And you have to, those, you may or may not believe it, but there is a spiritual warfare going on to break the human spirit. And we have to really, really wake up and pay attention. And so for those who wake up and pay attention, you will get it. You will get it. And if not, because everyone will awaken at different periods and different stages of their life. But I felt it was important to share this today. It was important to share this today because so many people are putting their faith in the wrong things, right? Where they're putting their faith in the wrong things. And sometimes you have to follow your intuition, with that gut instinct, when you feel something in your gut is telling you not to do something, or you follow it. That first thought, that first instinct is usually correct. It's just like when you are taking a test and you have these choices and you're looking at them and you're trying to decipher and see which one would be the best choice, right? And something's telling you to pick A because you feel like A is the answer, but yet you go with C. Yet you go with C, but you felt like A was it, but you start overthinking, then you go with C because we start to overthink and we start look, but what if and what if instead of going with the first choice. And when you get your test back, A was the right answer. I know you've all experienced that before. I know I have. So my point of what I'm making today is to stress to you that the importance of your mental health, right? The importance of refraining from certain things and people that are not serving you, that are not helping you to experience the fullness of joy and happiness and abundance and the things that make you laugh and smile, right? And one of the things that helps with that is, again, I'm always going back to nature and gratitude, because these are the things that if you could stay grounded in those things, that's going to help you. In addition to whatever your religious or spiritual practices, these things all combined together will help you. And so you need to have that. It's so important. And just being able to look out and see the sunshine. I have a big window here that every now and then I'm glancing over because I just love the sunlight. I love the sunlight, and um, just being able to look at the trees and experiencing nature and seeing the squirrels and the birds chirp, right? It's a beautiful thing, and being appreciative of what's around me, of my environment around me, as well as the people that I love and care about. It's very important. And we can get our mindset together by tapping into just the beautiful part of nature and connecting with nature and being appreciative and gratitude. It will help you. And it helps you not just in the mental, but the physical, as mental, but spiritual as well. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say, the spiritual as well. And for our physical, we stretch, we do our movement, whatever that movement is for you, that form of movement to help you keep going, keep getting that flow, blood flow, and increasing our heart rate and circulation, right? We need that. We know that this is important. And it's something that we should be striving to do. And I just wanted to say that, yes, we are being under attack. And we have to be mindful of where we focus our energy. We need to be mindful of where we choose to focus our energy, right? And so whatever you focus on, you bring more of that to you. So focus on the positive things, focus on the good things, right? And we need to do that. And all of these other things that's going on in the world, right? Um, I could talk about, racism. I could talk about so many different things. I could talk about, the different things that's going on against other people that look different from us, that share different views and ideals from us. The whole key is for the enemy is to keep that going. But if we can show them something different, and this is how we take our power back. This is how we gain control, by operating from this place of love and unity, and not separation and division, but love and unity, which will make us stronger. And I'll give you another perfect example. If you ever watch the animal channels and you watch where the lionesses, they're going on a hunt, they're going to these top predators, they're going after the buffalo, all right, the wild buffalo, bison, whatever. And one is trapped. One gets caught by the buffalo. And one other brave buffalo decides that he's not thinking of himself. He just hear and see this buffalo being attacked. He goes over and he tries to intimidate the other lions by attacking them. Guess what happens? That one individual, that one brave bison, bull, or whatever, then attracts others to come in and join in the defense of saving this one other bison who's about to be killed by the lion. And they all join in because we are a power in numbers. And when that happens, what happens? When that happens, when they all join together in defense, fighting off the lions, trying to put them with their horns or whatever, what do? The lions, they have no defense at that time but to retreat because they're outnumbered and they're not as strong as the bull or the bisons. Right? I'm saying bull because I'm assuming it's a male bull. I don't know. Or just like a mother bison will defend her calf, do whatever she can to try to defend and protect her calf. And so when we can operate like that and stand together as one being, one group of individuals, we can separate ourselves by our culture, religion, whatever, gender, all of that stuff. But humanity one as a whole, when we come together outside of all that other things that make us our own individual person, when we come together, what do we do? What do we do? And we come together in unity. There's this whole collective and unity of love. Do you know what that can do for the planet? Do you know what that can do for a nation, the planet as a whole? It can do a whole lot, a whole lot. And when you understand that, we're not separate, but one, right? When you understand that, then you can see, then you can really see. But the important thing is you have to understand yourself first, and you have to first be the change first in order to affect change and impact change on others. And I wanted to share that with you today because so many people are going through it right now. So many people are having a hard time. I apologize for the light coming in on my face here, but so many people are having a really difficult time dealing with, health issues, dealing with mental health issues, right? Your overall health, mental health, spiritual health, financial health, emotional health. All of these things are impacted by a person. And when you're faced with all of these different things that just keeps coming at you, every time you turn on the news, you're just hearing more and more, all the variant, more and more people, such and such amount of people have passed away from this new variant and this and that. And I don't know, the war that's happening over in this country here, it becomes too much. It becomes too much. And so that's when we have to take charge and say, you know what? I'm choosing not to listen to this today. I'm deciding that I don't want to engage in anything that's going to make me feel lower, like my emotions and how I'm feeling lower, and I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling, I don't know, just like this blah feeling. So I think this is what I wanted to talk about today. And so you have to find a way to use your voice and spread the word on just waking up, right? If you're there, if you're already there, then you know what I mean. And there are different levels of this consciousness, right? And so I want you to use your voice and find your voice to help bring unity on the planet and to help operate from a place of love rather than fear. And I'm going to wrap up with that. And I really hope you benefited somehow from this episode today. We are under attack, but we are waking up. We are slowly waking up. We're getting there, and we will win. We will win in this spiritual warfare. Thank you for tuning in on this episode. I hope you have a blessed week. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to Health Coach for Women with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate that effort. Until next time.